Today we are talking about the pros and cons of living in Venice, Florida. So for those that don't know, Venice, Florida is a beautiful little city on the Gulf Coast, of course, Southwest Florida, but right along the Gulf Coast, just south of Sarasota. So it's in the northern half of Southwest Florida, just south of Sarasota, just north of Inglewood. Great little town, smaller cities, considered a part of the Sarasota Bradenton metro area, but it's on the very south end of that. Tons of beaches, over 14 miles of beaches, which is awesome for such a small area. Stretches from Casey Key down to Minnesota Key with tons and tons of recreational opportunities, as is a continuous theme throughout all of Southwest Florida. Recreation and the outdoor lifestyle is huge in Venice. Tons of golf courses, of course, like I said, 14 miles of beaches, so lots of opportunity for swimming, sunbathing, fishing, snorkeling, shelling, boating, all of the above. The water's incredible, just beautiful, crystal blue water almost all the time. Absolutely love the water in Venice. In fact, most of the time when we go to the beaches during the busy season, my family and I tend to go to the Venice beaches we live in North Fort Myers. We tend to go to the Venice beaches over the Fort Myers beaches because it tends to be quicker and easier to get there during the peak season in the winter months, January through April timeframe when all the snowbirds are down. So Venice is a little bit of a smaller city, population of just over 26,000 as of the 2021 census. So not so many activities, like organized activities and things like that. There are plenty of things to do. Smaller group activities. There's lots of small group organized activities from some of the different homeowners associations, organized activities, and there's all kinds of privately organized activities. You just got to do a little research and find them. But there's not so many of the big things. Like there's not big theaters or sporting events or concerts or things like that. There's not a whole lot of those, but there's smaller community things like the drum circle on the North Jetty off of Venice Beach, or Nokomis Beach, I should say. Lots of cool little things, little community things like that are a lot of fun and a lot of great things to do like that. For those that are not familiar with the Venice beaches, they are a little bit different from most of Southwest Florida, especially if you're used to like the Sarasota beaches, Siesta Key, Fort Myers Beach, that sort of thing. Siesta Key has that super fine white sugar sand. Venice Beach is actually referred to as a salt and pepper beach because it has both white and black sand. So really cool, just a very different, interesting look. And it is the shark tooth capital of the world. So a lot of cool finds on the beach, not just shells, but also tons of shark's teeth. I don't know exactly why that is, but it's a cool little thing. And you just walk along the beach, bring a little sieve or something, and scoop up some sand, and you almost always find shark's teeth when you're wandering around the beach. Venice Island is awesome. That's like where the heart of the downtown Venice area is on Venice Island. There's a couple bridges to get onto it, and that's a part of the city of Venice, of course. And most people don't know, but I mean, you can tell when you walk around that there's a lot of historic buildings and everything. A lot of the architecture is old Northern Italian style architecture, so a lot of that Mediterranean feel. But the city plans date all the way back to 1925. So this city was designed back then, super walkable little Main Street area, ton of fun, a lot of cool little shops and restaurants and things like that. There's a ton of dining options and some really cool little spots. You got Sharky's on the pier, which is a great restaurant, like awesome lunch spot, great bar. And so cool little spot there right on the fishing pier. There is a small community theater called the Venice Theater and Venice Art Center. They do put on performances there. And another one of my favorite restaurants is the Crow's Nest. It's another waterfront restaurant, super nice, a little more upscale dining. Been there since 1976. Cool little spot. They consider it casual fine dining because there's Southwest Florida, there's not a ton of actual fine dining. It's mostly, I mean, it's just a super casual area. So, but very, very good food, overlooking the water, and tons of great seafood, steaks, all of that good stuff. So I've given you a lot of the stats and information about Venice. Now let's get into what you're actually here for, the pros and cons. So make sure you stick around for all of it and drop any questions, comments, anything that you've got about the Venice area or Southwest Florida in general. Please drop them in the comments. We'll be happy to answer the questions for you and maybe even make a whole video about what you're asking about. So for the pros, if you are into history, like the historic Florida feel, then Venice is a good spot for you. Tons of history, lots of historic buildings, just a lot of really cool stuff here. It does have that small town feel with a population of around 26,000 full-time residents. Now, obviously that population grows in the winter months, as does all of Southwest Florida, but really has a nice small town feel to it. I mean, I know when I was working in Venice, got to know a ton of the local people, see them around town, go out to lunch, and you're running into people all the time that you know. So if you like that, then Venice is a good spot for you. Incredible beaches. Doesn't take very long from anywhere in Venice to get to an amazing beach. Benefits of that small town feel and over 14 miles of beaches in the Venice area. There's also a ton of parks in Venice. I didn't talk about that before, but there's over 40 parks in Venice, and like I said, small town, 40 parks. That's a lot for such a small area. So that's awesome. Tons and tons of recreational fishing spots. So if you are a fisherman, Venice is incredible. Whether whether you got a boat or not, doesn't really matter. The fishing pier, you've got Maxine Barrett Park, Sleeping Turtles Preserve. There's some cool fishing spots, and along with a lot of good fishing comes a lot of good seafood. So tons of fresh seafood. Lots of restaurants have fresh seafood on the menu, so that's great. All kinds of awesome dining options. Really, whatever kind of food you like. Indian, Italian, Mexican, Thai, Turkish, South American. Actually, probably the best Mexican restaurant I have ever eaten at in Southwest Florida is in Venice. So really good food and lots of options, so you really never run out if you want to try something new. Tons of golf courses. Definitely, if you are a golfer, this is a great spot for that as well. And lots of other outdoor recreational activities, biking, swimming, kayaking. The Legacy Trail runs through Venice, which is awesome. It's a massive bike trail that you can ride, biking, hiking trail. Crime rate's super low in Venice. And then, of course, just like all of Florida, Southwest Florida, you get the benefit of no state income tax and the beautiful, sunny, warm weather. All right, so now let's talk about the cons, the maybe not so good things about Venice. It is on the more expensive side. It doesn't quite reach to the Sarasota prices, but it is definitely more expensive than many of the other options. Inglewood, Port Charlotte, Punta Gorda, Northport. Venice tends to be more expensive than them. So a little bit pricier, but it's not incredibly higher than those. So traffic can get a little bad, especially during season in the peak driving hours. There are plenty of working adults in Venice as well, although it does tend to be known primarily as a retirement community. There are plenty of people that work there as well, and so during the traditional rush hours is of course going to be the worst. That's also when a lot of the snowbirds like to go out to eat sometimes. So they're going to dinner when you're coming home from work and all of that. So of course in season it can become a little bit overcrowded, but I will say it's not as bad as some of the other areas in Southwest Florida. I've not experienced it, not felt like it was as bad as some of the others. Public transportation is almost non-existent. There is a little bit. Sarasota County has a bus system, but don't rely on public transportation. I mean, when you're coming to Southwest Florida, it is designed around cars. So you're gonna want a car if you live in a big city up north or along the East Coast where public transportation is a big thing. I know I had a client down the other day from the Chicago area, and they don't have cars at all. Moving down to Southwest Florida, you're gonna need a car. Just is what it is, but the infrastructure is designed for it, and that's how it's set up. As I said, it is known more as a retirement area, so the demographics do skew a little bit higher in age range. And of course, it is Southwest Florida. Florida in general, you do have a risk of hurricanes. Although, and I don't know if I should say this publicly because it might jinx it, but Venice has never had a direct hit. There is a kind of an old wives' tale that it's because there is an Indian burial ground in the area that protects it. I don't know, but it was a popular, it was a place where there was a big Indian tribe that used to live in the Venice area. It was heavily populated, and yeah, it was just there's something about that area and the way the coast is shaped, I guess, that it tends to be a little bit better protected. So maybe something to that too, but I wouldn't bank on it. I would make sure you've got a home that is, if you're looking to move to anywhere in Florida in general, make sure you've got a home that is set up to be able to deal with the hurricanes if and when they do come. So that's it. Pros and the cons. Please, like I said, make sure you drop us any comments, questions, concerns, anything that you've got related to Southwest Florida or Venice specifically. Love to get your questions, love to have your interaction, and let us know how we can help, what information we can get you. Thanks for watching, everybody.